Okay, here we go. Fuzz. This one's going to be much tougher, if you ask me, because I like to use the tone and the volume on my guitars, and Fuzz, of all effects, benefits from that the most. So Fuzz can really be an extension of whatever you're doing on your guitar because of that, which is why I love Fuzz so much. As you can see, I got the tube pilot sitting here, only because the Fuzz for me represents mainly my lead tone. It's nice when I can roll it off and get all those in-between sounds, but it really is mainly for my lead tone. Now, one other thing I'm going to note here is the moment I went to make this video, which is part 2, Fuzz, I plugged in the winner of my compression part 1B video I made, and immediately the winner, which was the Warm Audio Pedal 76, had horrendous noise issues going on. I thought it had passed and gone away. I think it might have something to do with Bluetooth or with interference of some sort, whether it be Wi-Fi or otherwise. In any case, it ain't happening. I'm not interested in that kind of noise. So the Nile was a very close second, and I think the Nile's probably more versatile. I'm going to have to get a hold of Warm Audio and figure out what the deal is with it. I don't know if there's a ground wire loose somewhere on it, or the transformer and it's susceptible to noise. But in any case, the Nile is now going to be the first stage in my, let's turn the tube pilot off for a second. So this is my tone for today. I'm so used to having some sort of modulation in there. Boy, when my intonation's not right, it's really not right. Okay, back to Fuzz. So we got 5 different pedals today we're going to shoot out. If my camera decides to cooperate, it would be really great, camera. It would be really great. There we go. Okay, so we've got the tube pilot. I know it's not a Fuzz, but this represents my lead stuff. I've got 2 Fuzzface style pedals. I have the Morgan NKT 275, which is a very controversial pedal, but you're going to hear it in a minute, and it's broken. And it still sounds incredible. The Analogman Sunface NKT red dot low gain. I got real lucky. I just happened to be on the site one day when they had some available. So this one's kind of special to me in that regard. The Muffroom Cloud, aka Fallout Cloud. Fallout Cloud is the current name of it. I think it's still in production. I haven't looked at it in a while, but this represents the Big Muff style Fuzz, which is a massive beast. And then, of course, and this is a pedal I give a hard time, similar to the hard time I give the Nile for having a dumb name and being ugly, was probably really an obstacle to this pedal's success, just like the Nile. I don't care how good it is, people shop with their eyes first. I bet a lot of people didn't even listen to this because you look at it and you think, how stupid is that thing? Worst color yellow ever. Worst name ever. This is a silicon fuzz, one of the best sounding fuzzes I've ever used, specifically a silicon fuzz. So you're going to hear that shortly too. So I've already got the tube pilot hooked up because this is like the 3rd time I've started this video. Just because the other one, I actually left my mic on for a while, and I wouldn't I wouldn't ask anybody to sit there and listen to me play with the room echo. So I'm going to mute the mic. Let's make some tube pilot noise. Tell you, there's nothing wrong with that sound at all. Nothing at all. In fact, I'm a little surprised. I haven't played this in a while at how nicely it rolls off with this guitar. There's still a lot of clarity there as I roll off. And I'm guessing I haven't let this thing heat up for a long time, but there is a tube in there. I'm guessing that you get some really nice saturation when this thing gets hot inside. So there's a reason I've kept this, even though it's an inexpensive pedal. It actually really sounds pretty damn good, and that's after compression, stacked compression at that. So excellent sounding. Let's move on. Okay, the Morgan. So we're running off a battery right now, which is fine with a fuzz. It is absolutely fine to run a fuzz with a battery. I'll keep saying it. You don't. In fact, I wish this didn't have the super bright LED. The LED's probably sucking that battery more than anything. Again, there is something wrong with this. The reason I'm running it battery only is because I think whatever's going on with it has to do with the input of the power. So I'm not even going to mess with the power here today, but let me mute this mic and make some noise. There is nothing wrong with that sound. It is a really, really great sounding pedal, even though something's not right in it. That was not noisy. It had all of the thickness. And again, this is even after stacked compression. I'm always impressed by this thing when I plug it in, and there's a reason I've kept it. In fact, it makes me want to get another one that isn't messed up somehow. All right, let's pause this and move on. Okay, get your corks out and start sniffing them. This is the Sunface NKT Red Dot Low Gain. I got real lucky with this thing, and I'm glad I did because it's a fantastic fuzz. Let's make some noise. I'm very familiar with this one. This one is pretty much the one I use the most. But I got to say this. We're in the middle of a shootout here. I like the way the Morgan sounded better. Is it night and day? Nope. They're real close. Obviously, the Analogman one is maybe more balanced, more refined sounding, but that raw, open fuzz sound you get out of the Morgan so far is my favorite. Two pilot, or I'd say, well, we'll get to rankings at the end. All right, let's switch out to another one. All righty, let's explode the universe with the Muffroom cloud. listen to that noise. It's more noise than I ever remember in this thing before. But it's a muffroom cloud. What do you expect? Okay, so I'd say it's similar to the Tube Pilot. I probably have more versatility with it. I can tweak the treble and the bass on it. It has that insane sustain that you might expect out of a Big Muff style pedal. But no complaints there. I think that's more of a role player pedal than a kind of a permanent, you know, if I have a specific need, that's why I've kind of kept it, other than it's kind of rare. I don't want to sell it. But I'd put that in the category of the Tube Pilot. Both of which roll off better. Like this one probably rolls off the most linear of all of them, which I prefer. I don't want an audio taper. When I'm rolling off a fuzz, I want a linear taper. This one rolls off in a more linear fashion than the other ones so far. So excellent in that regard, excellent sustain, the best sustain so far. But I'd probably put it about equal with the Tube Pilot, which makes the Tube Pilot an obvious choice since it's so much more less expensive and easier to get a hold of. All right, so let's move on to the last one. Okay, this one I haven't played in a while. This is one I like to have because silicone fuzz does have its place. Even though I believe the Muffroom Cloud's also got silicone in it. But in any case, this is a more traditional silicone fuzz. Each click here represents a different level of fuzz. So let's see what we got. It's pretty impressive since it's only on setting 3. It's almost like there's an EBO on there. I got that's more sustained than the Muffroom cloud. And I'm not even on the final setting. I'm only on setting 5 here, but since setting, was it 2 or 3, I've pretty much had infinite sustain. Definitely doesn't roll off as good as the other ones. And I normally wouldn't run it pinned like this. I'd probably do something like this, get some of that noise down. Plus, by the way, I should also note that the pickup in this guitar is unpotted. I think that makes for a better sounding pickup, but it obviously creates other issues, such as when you're using something like a fuzz. I never thought that the Muffroom cloud and the tweak would be louder than the Morgan, though, especially since I'm pretty sure there's something dramatically wrong with the Morgan. So just one more setting here, and then we'll boy, have we been through everything already? Then we'll make our final rankings. All right, so it definitely doesn't roll off. This one probably rolls off the least out of all of them. But I gotta say, at least today, at this moment, my winner is the Morgan. I honestly thought this would be kind of funny to have in there because I know there's something wrong with it, but I'm gonna plug it back in one more time here just to reinforce what I'm thinking. All right, I want to play this just one more time, make sure my head is where I want it to be. Yep, that's my winner. Cleans up nice, has decent sustain. I like doing a lot of stuff with open strings. This may be like the Pedal 76, though. I knew there was something wrong with it, and I let it win. And then the moment I added it into the chain in a proper fashion, it crapped out on me. So who knows, the Morgan may lose its title just because something's fucked up about it, but I might have to get another one. Now, second place, definitely, I prefer Fuzz Face, and this one's super rare. It doesn't have the voice the Morgan does, though. It has the right voice, though. This is probably the voice a Fuzz Face should have in a mix. Remember, I'm not necessarily recording in a mix or in a live setting. This is like a home live setting. So I can get away with having something a little more unchained, like the Morgan, a little more raw sounding. So, but that's number 2. Number 3. I got to say, I can't pick one of the other 3. The other 3, so the Tube Pilot. Come on, phone, work with me here. Oh, well, you're going to get that camera angle because I don't feel like fighting this thing right now. The Tube Pilot, the Tweak Fuzz, and the Muffroom Cloud all sound good in their own right. The Tweak Fuzz has amazing sustain. The Tube Pilot, again, both of these for the price, I bet you if you look and you're diligent, you could get either one of these for $30. And you maybe get, if you're more of an Eric Johnson-y, David Gilmour guy, you go for the Tube Pilot. If you're anywhere from Keith Richards up to Billy Corgan, you go for the Tweak Fuzz. And then I guess, again, I'm leaving all these tied for third, but the Muffroom Clouds, the Billy Corgan or maybe the David Gilmour fan wants one of those, or you just want to have a cork sniffy board, because there's no doubt it's way cooler than the Tweak Fuzz or the Tube Pilot when it comes to perception. But when it comes to tone, I think all of these earn their own place when it comes to it. The Tube Pilot may even be more of a wild card because you get that tube in there. I bet you let that tube in there cook long enough, you're going to get some real nice thick tones out of it, and some nice organic response out of it. So there you go. My winner chicken dinner, the Morgan NKT 275. Personally, yes, I'd love to have an NKT 275. I love my Morgan amp. This pedal sounds amazing. They both have not been without their issues, if I'm saying that right. Like my PR5, my Morgan PR5 eats tubes. I have to run the brown box at I want to say 114 volts, and it's still really fussy. This fuzz is the same way, but I think I heard Joe Morgan say it in an interview that some of these parts, in order for them to sound their best, you have to push them to their edge, which means that they're just generally going to break more often. So if you really are pushing for the best sound, you're going to end up with gear that's finicky. When it comes to fuzz, I think that applies. Some of this other effects, like that compressor, there's no reason that should be having those issues. I don't know if it's just a design flaw or the application I have, or that. You got to remember the 1176s were designed long before Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, internet. So maybe those circuits need to be rethought with modern technology in mind. But so there you go. There's the end of part 2, fuzz. Now, next in my chain, at least before things go to the amp, is going to be overdrive, but I'm not going to do that yet because I have a pedal on the way. And this pedal, part of my justification for buying it was, damn it, I got to sell some stuff if I can justify buying this thing. So I'm excited for that to come, but I'm in North Carolina and it's coming from California. So I might not have another Shootout until next week, but I'm glad I got these 2 steps done. And because I'm off today and I don't want to go a week without having the rest of my signal chain set up, I might dip into delays after this, but I'm going to go figure out lunch here shortly. So again, thanks for watching. This was way more interesting than the compression, because all of these pedals, well, all the compressors were good too, but all of these pedals have a real, compelling sound to them, which is a lot of fun. But in any case, again, thanks for watching. I'm thinking I want to do delays next. So Maybe later today you'll see a shootout for delays. That'll be part 3.